Hey y'all, it's Andrea with The Cutest Little Thing. Thanks so much for hopping on to watch today's video. If you love thrift flips, home decor, upcycling, DIYs, and all of the things, then you are at the right place. If this is your first time visiting my channel, I hope you like what you see, and if you do, please hit that subscribe button where you don't miss any future videos. And if you've hung out with me before, welcome back. I'm glad that you're here today and excited to share with you today's videos, so let's go ahead and get started. This project starts out with an ordinary stool I thrifted. It has paint splattered all over it and some sort of waxy, sticky substance. So I'm taking my sandpaper here. It's a tough grit. I can't remember exactly. I think maybe a 120. I cleaned that up and got as much of that off as I could. Now I'm going in with Fusion paint in the color Parchment. This is a pretty white color. I'm just going to give this entire stool a complete coat of this paint. Now on the sides where this red and orange paint was splattered and burgundy, I did have to do 2 coats just to be sure I didn't have any bleed through or it weren't going to try to pop through on me, because I didn't want you to be able to see that at all. But everywhere else I just did 1 coat. We are using this as a base coat. And while I was painting that, I found another little piece of wax. I believe is what it was. It was almost like crayon, melted crayon. I'm not exactly sure what this was. So I was sanding the rest of that off. I just kind of sanded it smooth and then went back over with that Fusion paint. I got all on the underneath everywhere. Now this beaded wreath ring, I can get these at my local Dollar Tree for $1.25. Check yours out and see if they have them. These are super cute to add to projects. I just absolutely love keeping these in my stash. I'm going with E6000 glue and dabbing in around this ring, and then I also go in between that with some hot glue. I'm going to glue this down right on the top of this stool. It fits perfectly right on the top. So I was super excited about that. So I pressed that firmly and kind of held it in place for a few minutes and let that glue dry. Now I'm going in with the same Sweet Pickins Milk Paint in the color Love Bug and paint on a first coat all around, even over those little wooden beads, on the sides, the underneath, everywhere. And I continue layering my milk paint after I get this first coat applied. I'll go in with my heat tool and apply that heat, and then I went in with a second coat and applied heat again. And I also took a small little paintbrush and went around those beads really well and in between those little cracks and crevices. Now these little terracotta pots, I believe, are my new obsession. I'm loving terracotta pots, especially the small ones like this. And I'm doing them different ways. I do a couple with this Love Bug color. And I do 1 coat, apply heat, do a second coat. I'm just removing the price tag here. This is a really quick way to remove those price tags. And they usually come off a lot cleaner, is applying that heat and heating that glue back up. And a couple of them, I just applied Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in the white. And I was loving how that looked, just applying the white wax over that terracotta. And then a couple, I took this color Birdie, also in the Sweet Pickins. Y'all, this is another beautiful color. If you watched my live this week, you saw me use this color. My live over on Facebook, you saw me use this color for my project there, and I love it. Look how pretty it is. So I did a couple this color too, and with this little pot, I was getting a lot of pretty texture, and I just showed you that there in the camera. And look, after I applied that heat, all of the chipping. This pot was a little older. It was in my stash, so I'm guessing that's the only reason I can think of as to why I got so much more chipping on that one. I don't know, but I just went with it, embraced that chippiness. I love the chippiness anyway. And just use my little paintbrush to go around the top rim of the pots. And I did seal in all my pots with the Dixie Belle Best Dang Wax. And I did go with the white. I wanted these to have that beautiful white hue with that white wax. Hang tight. I cannot wait for y'all to see how this comes together. These little doilies I got off of Amazon in a bulk pack, and now I'm just staging up my little stool. These blueberries came from Amazon as well, and I just placed some of those in that one terracotta pot I left as is, and I'm just putting those blueberries along with some eucalyptus greenery in that pot. This little wooden bead hanger, I just kind of placed it, and then I stacked my pots, those little mini ones. I stacked, one stack had 3 and one stack had 2 pots. And this little birdie I got from my Dollar General, and I did apply white wax over him as well. I wanted to keep him that blue color because I thought he matched the blueberries really well, but I did want to apply that wax. And look at this little teeny basket I grabbed from my stash and applied the white wax over it as well. Adding some baby's breath to the little teeny basket, I just trimmed up the stems where it would fit and just kind of put them over to one side. I'll fix my camera, hang tight, and I'll fix it where you can see. I didn't realize it was out of view. Look how cute this is looking. So I'm wiping away the excess wax off of the bird and just sat him there with the pots. And I had these little clothespins I had previously painted with the color birdie, so I stuck them in there. And y'all, look how cute this turned out. I love this little display. I love that pop of yellow with the stool. And all the terracotta pots with the blueberries and birds. Let me know what y'all think of this. I absolutely love it, and I hope y'all do too. I did change it up a bit to see which way I like better. I grabbed a terracotta pot that I painted the birdie color instead of using the natural terracotta pot. And then I added a teeny little bluebird in that basket with the baby's breath. So y'all let me know which way y'all like it better. If y'all like the bigger pot, this birdie color, or if y'all liked it better with leaving it the natural color that it originally was. But I do love the addition of that teeny little bluebird in that basket of baby's breath. Moving on to the next project, I grabbed these little mini trays out of my stash. I get these from Dollar Tree, and they are $1.25. I'm using those same Sweet Pickins Milk Paints. That's a little hard to say sometimes. In a pickle with the pretty green color, and I'm just layering up my trays with that paint. I made a few of these a while back, and they seem to sell really well in my booth. You can fix them on little feet where they're risers. You can also put a little hanger on the back where they can be hung on the wall. And the way they're designed, they can also stand up tall on their own. so they can be little shelf sitters as well. The possibilities are endless with these, and I love them. And also going in on that second tray with the color Love Bug. And again, this is that raw wood material. The milk paint does tend to kind of soak in, so I do like to layer up when I'm painting on that raw wood surface. And I'm painting all around, sides, back, handles, everywhere. Now I'm going in with Big Top just to get these trays sealed. Milk paint does not have a built-in sealer, and I do want to use transfers on these pieces. So when you use your transfers, you want to be sure your piece is sealed, and it does make a difference, trust me, because I've tried to be hard-headed and use transfers without sealing first, and it's a lot harder to do. I'm giving these a quick dry just to get that top coat dried a little bit faster. I'm going in with the IOD transfer packet here. I want to use these mushrooms. I think they are so pretty. So I pick several different ones and I just begin transferring them onto the trays. You use the little tool that comes with your pack to rub back and forth on your transfer while you slowly pull up on that clear film. I also had just random pieces of greenery. That's the great thing about using transfers. You do not have to use them the exact way that they come. You can customize them to your piece. You can cut them, use pieces here and there, piece them together. You can even overlap them to make a beautiful display on your piece. And I just continue this technique, and when you get it down, you take that little film and rub over the transfer just to be sure it's adhered well and you don't have any bubbles or wrinkles trying to form. I don't usually have that problem with the IOD transfers, but it's good to do for good measure. And again, I'm just cutting and piecing these transfers the way I want them on my second tray as well. I tried to color coordinate the mushrooms along with the florals that I used and the greenery. I just think these are super cute. And it's a great way to use up little transfer pieces that you have. Super cute. Now I'm going to take my Dixie Belle's Best Stain Wax. This is the clear wax. And now I'm using it to seal in those transfers. And I go ahead and brush over the tray as well because I am going to be adding some brown wax as well. And I don't want it to be super dark. So if you want to prevent that from happening, you can use clear wax first, then go in with your brown or your dark wax. And that just helps that brown wax blend into your piece and it's not so dark. That's just a good technique to use. And I just lightly brush over with my brown wax as well. I do let that wax sit for a little while and I do rub off the excess. Now I'm taking these little teeny birds. I get them off of Amazon. I'm going to paint them. So I grab two. One, I paint the color Aviary in the DIY paint. This is a beautiful green color as well. I thought it matched that in a Pickle Sweet Pickins paint pretty well. So I was going to use the green bird on the yellow tray. And here in a minute, I will paint another bird to use on the green tray. I'm going to go with Cashew. This is a Waverly chalk paint. but I thought it would go really well with that green tray. That cashew is a beautiful color. I love it. And these wood slices, I grabbed these from Dollar Tree. I grabbed one and hot glued to the corner of each tray. And now I'm going to complete this embellishing with some moss. I hot glued that over that little stump. I'm just wanting to add some natural elements here to go with these mushrooms and just add a special little touch. I'm showing you here, notice your moss, your Spanish moss when you get it. I have a pack that's more brown, and then I have a pack that's more green, and I love to use them both for different projects. It's just all according where you get it. I know I get a certain pack at Walmart and then a certain pack at Hobby Lobby, and they look different. I'm also going in with some little sprigs of eucalyptus greenery. Y'all know that's my absolute favorite. And I just hot glue those little pieces right there with that moss. And look how cute that came together. And as you saw, I hot glued the little bird on top of the stump. Now, these are just some little glass jars I've had in my stash a while. I'd already spray painted them black. And now I'm going over them with some textured white paint. Again, I'm just creating a base because I'm going to be using that same milk paint over these. I was just grabbing some random things out of my stash to use that paint on. Now, I used the in a pickle and went over, I think I did 2 in the green color. And I applied that heat after that first coat. And now I'm going in with that second coat. I did want that white to kind of pop through like you saw it was doing before I did that second coat. But after I applied that heat, the texture on these were so pretty. And then I used that same yellow color in the Love Bug. These turned out really cute. I just wanted some little accent pieces to go along with those bigger pieces that we made with these colors. And to create that texture, I applied the pickling salt into that white paint we were using. And that was Fusion's white paint in the color Parchment. Now, I like to mix my milk paint up in these glass jars that I save in my stash. And when I'm finished with my piece, I will coat them with Mod Podge just to give a layer of something for the paint to adhere to, especially using milk paint. So I'm just applying a good coat of that Mod Podge over the entire jar, and I do the bottom of it as well. I did give that Mod Podge a quick dry. And now I just simply take that little bit of leftover paint in the bottom of the jar and I brush over the jar with it all around. And I do layer up the milk paint on my glass pieces as well. It is important to either do a base coat of another paint and then seal that, or use a paint with a built-in sealer. Or like I did the Mod Podge, that is a sealer as well. Just to give it something, to give that paint something to grab onto and adhere better to. And then after you apply your milk paint, you want to seal your milk paint. And here I'm going with the green color in a pickle. And this color does dry lighter than it goes on. Now here are our jars all good and dry. I have these cute little Bumblebee transfers I wanted to use on them. Now I didn't get on camera, but I did seal in that milk paint and I used Big Top to do that. So I'm taking my, I can't remember what transfers these are from, but I will include that in the description. I think they may be redesigned by Prima, but I'm not certain. But you just want to take that transfer tool that comes in your pack of transfers and go back and forth over it and slowly pull up on that clear film there. And you want to work slow and steady, because if you get too fast, you may pull up too fast and some of your transfers still be stuck on that clear film. And look how cute that is with the Bumblebee. And did you see all that beautiful cracking in our jar? I just love how the jars look with the milk paint on them. Now I'm going to go ahead and seal in that transfer, and I'm using Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax, and I just used the clear. I didn't want to alter the color much because these will be, I'm sort of creating a display for all of my milk paint for my booth, and I'm going to just kind of arrange the jars in all the different colors. So I want the color to be true to what it is and not add any white wax or dark wax on them. And that's just going to be a way that I advertise my milk paint in my booth. And when I get that display all finished, I will share that with you guys. Now I'm just adding some greenery. This is boxwood greenery from Walmart. And a couple of little artificial baby's breath I got off of Amazon. And look how cute that is. Just so simple, yet super cute. I love how the jars turned out. Now moving on, I had these little mushrooms. I got these from Dollar Tree. They're really super cute as is, but I did want to paint them where they would blend a little bit better with my arrangement here of all these decor pieces I have going on. So first I'm dulling down that shine with Mod Podge, and I let that dry. And then I go in with White Swan, DIYs White Swan, and I'm giving it a good coat, just a good base coat all around the top of that mushroom. Once I get the entire mushroom coated, I go with my sponge brush and do a stippling technique over the top of that mushroom, and that is just giving me some beautiful texture. And I only do the top like that, and that made all the difference. I didn't have those brush strokes, and I had that beautiful texture to work with on the top. Then I dried that, and then I did do a coat of the clear wax, the Dixie Belle clear wax all around, and that's going to keep that brown wax from being too harsh when I go in with that. Using Dixie Belle's Best Dang Wax in the brown, I start by going around the very edge, the outer edge of that mushroom, and then I go around the entire piece, and I go a little heavier around the very bottom and sort of do a fade up the stem part of that mushroom, and I do the underneath as well. I let that sit, wipe back the excess with a little scrap cloth there. Next, I take some green chalk paint. This is Moss in the Waverly, and I stipple on around the edges, and then I take a clean paintbrush and dab back around that wet paint, and then take a cloth and blend that in. I'm taking the tip of my paintbrush and just making some little dots in that same moss color around the top of the mushroom. And that's that for the mushrooms. Now, last but not least, moving back to these little cups, I fill them with some scrap fabric that I had just to take up some room and not use up so much moss. Then I fill Spanish moss over that, and I have these little succulents here that I've had in my stash. I think they came from Dollar Tree, and I just trim those stems up where they're not too tall and stick those down in those little cups. I love how they turned out. Look how cute they are. So here we go, guys, with our finished pieces. Here's the little jars we did the bumblebees on. And the mushrooms. I just love how everything turned out and went together. And there's our little succulent plant. I just added those transfers on and some white wax. And those little cups, look how cute they are all staged together like that. Let me know what you think of today's projects, what you think of these colors we used today. I think it is beautiful for spring and summer. And I love the little trays. Let me know your favorite, and thanks for watching today's video, and I will see you on the next one. And just to give you one more look of today's projects, here's our cute little display we made with the yellow stool and all the terracotta pots and birdies. And here is the other way with the larger terracotta pot, the natural color. Y'all just let me know which of those you like the best. And then here is our mushroom display again with our trays, our little succulent plants, and the little mushrooms. Again, guys, thanks for watching today's video. Thank you for all of your support for my channel. I appreciate you being here so much. I hope you all have a blessed weekend. If you're a mother, have a wonderful Mother's Day tomorrow, and I will see you guys on the next video.